What's up, everybody? It's Mike and Nick here with CST. We're here to give you our best bets for PFL, Bellator, and UFC Saudi Arabia. If you're here, throw us a like, comment your favorite fight of the week, and hit that subscribe button for us. So we're going to jump right into it. I think we should start off with PFL because it's on Friday. And let's jump right into it.
Let's do it. So this PFL card to me it's really chalk favorites for the most part. There's not many underdogs that I personally love. It's hilarious. Is Godzi Robdanov just moved from a minus 285 to a minus 305 right in front of me. So I'll start off with my favorite parlay for this PFL card. Then in that case, you have Clay. It's almost a chalk parlay, but it is what it is. We have Godzi Robinov, Clay Collard, and Sadi Busai. I know I am slaughtering most of those name pronunciations. If you parlay all three of them together, it's at plus 168. You have Clay Collard fighting Mads Burnell. Mads Burnell is going to be open to the body shots, and he's going to walk forward into Clay Collard punching him. He doesn't really have the grappling upside, in my opinion, to keep Clay Collard off his ass, and Clay Collard has great cardio, great boxing, and a hell of a chin. Sadi Busai, I think, is getting a layup here with Tom Breeze. I think Tom Breeze is a corpse of himself, a shell. And even though Sadi Busai is coming up to 205, open side body kick is going to be incredible. He's an incredibly talented striker, and his frame is not going to be necessarily the smallest 205er, to say the least. And again, Tom Breeze gasses, quits on himself, and he's chinny, to say the least. And then you have Godzi Robinov versus Elvin Espinoza. Elvin Espinoza, I don't think he's a great fighter. I'm just going to say it like that. He was losing 2 rounds against Adam Piccolotti before he caught the flying knee. Shout out to Keone Diggs, a fighter that he beat. Actually, my former neighbor, Keone Diggs. Keone Diggs is a talented fighter, but a fighter that doesn't put out enough volume to make something great. I think Gaziab Robinov is going to wrestle him. He can strike with him. He has good body, good. I don't want to say good boxing, but decent boxing, to say the least, and great cage presence. So I'm going to parlay these three together, and when you parlay them 3 together, you have it at plus 168. Again, a little bit chalky for a 3-leg parlay, but I feel very safe about this one. So what do you think for PFL, Big Mike?
All right, so for PFL in my notes, I just went over a couple underdogs I like, a couple confident picks that I have. Funny enough, actually, I was looking at Sadabu, and what you said about Tom Breeze isn't wrong necessarily as well, but he is moving up in weight class. Tom Breeze is pretty ripped. He's a plus 164 underdog, and he gets a lot
He's
of
on that
segment.
PFL supplements, brother.
He gets,
Once these former UFC fighters go to the PFL, they all somehow, some way look like they took their strength and conditioning way more seriously.
he's jacked, and he gets a lot of subs. And Sadabu is he's I'm sure, well, I can't even remember the word. He's subject to being subbed.
But one sec, I just want to say, Sada Busi, when he's not training in Stream Couture, does train in the Sweden Camp All-Star, right? And you know who's in the Sweden Camp All-Star, right? Chimaev, Gustafsson, Garam, a bunch of guys that have a good ground game.
That's true.
You think Tom Breeze is a better grappler than Hamzat Chimaev?
I think he's a better grappler than Sadabu.
Got me there.
So I think I'm going to probably take Tom Breeze is sitting at plus 164. The sub line isn't out yet, but if I see the sub line sitting at something high, I'm going to take that.
It's going to be super high. It's going to have to be, in my personal opinion, because Sadabusi isn't someone that loses by sub often, and he's an underdog already. So that's a trend that I've really noticed on specific lines, like such as knockout or submission. They're always anywhere from plus 500 to plus 700, especially for the underdogs. I apologize.
Yeah, and then I got a couple other fighters that I like here. I really don't like Brent Primus, and he's fighting Solomon Renfro. And I'm gonna be so Solomon Renfro is 11-5, but 4 out of those 5 losses are Magomed Kirimov, Adam Fugit, Johnny Parsons, and Mike Malott, and those guys are all good, man. And
I agree.
Yeah, and Solomon's young. He's 27. He's fighting a 39-year-old dude. I think, and Solomon Renfro's
he trains in a good room too. Trains with Merab Dvalishvili, the Syndicate MMA room, Patchy Mix. Like, I know some of these guys that I named are a lot smaller, but he trains with good people. He trains with Sada Busai as well.
Yeah, and he's plus 150. So I really like Solomon Renfro here. I love to fade Brent Primus. I hate what he does in the octagon
Yeah,
or
I mean,
in the cage.
he tries to play too much jujitsu, low volume as a striker. His takedown offense isn't the greatest. I love that play actually. I think Solomon Renfro at dog money is incredible. I'm gonna watch that live because I need to see him defend a takedown or two. I think as long as he can defend a takedown or two on the feet, I don't think the fight's necessarily close. And him growing as a fighter, as we've seen with Brent Primus, who's shown zero new wrinkles to his games over his last few fights. We saw that with the Islam Mamedov fight, the Benson Henderson fight. So I love that, brother. I didn't even think about the Solomon Renfro play. I think Solomon Renfro is actually an amazing underdog this week.
Yeah, and then after that, I'm confident in Robert Wilkinson. He's minus 270. His KO prop might be plus 110, plus 120. I'm not super high on what's his name, Josh
Josh
Oliveira.
Silveira.
Yeah, he's good. He's good jujitsu, but he's not very big for the class. And Rob Wilkinson's a dog.
I think people are really high on him more so for his father because, as you know, his father's a hell of a coach. One thing about Josh Silveira, though, I do want to take this in consideration is we've seen Rob Wilkinson come out and smash fools fast and fade late. Eventually, that juice cardio is going to come into play. And Silveira, I know you may like it by finish. He's tough as shit, man. And he does have the option of when he does get, and he's not fighting Impa Kasanganai this time, who has great range management. Rob Wilkinson will crash and play inside the pocket, which I think Josh Silveira is going to leave a lot of openings, possibly to drag this fight to the match, or drag this fight to the mat. I'm sorry. Being real with you, bro, I think Josh Silveira is a dog that I don't necessarily dislike. I just think Rob Wilkinson being on all the juice that he is on, it makes it a little bit more scary to say the least. But I, oddly enough, think Silveira is going to be a little bit hungrier. He's young and he's growing and training at a good camp in ATT. I always look at the camps too as well, man. I mean, Rob Wilkinson trains with fucking Cody Brundage on the daily. I'm going to take the ATT guys over. Get the fuck out of here.
Rob Wilkinson is starching him. And then I
You
like
know, and here's the thing. I just want to say this. I'm not saying take Silveira pre-fight. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is a live watch for me. After round one, if Silveira is still there and doesn't look like, because he does also have cardio issues himself, if Silveira looks like he's still there, there is a possibility for a live dog play. I just want to say that.
Alrighty. And then another one I have two more plays for PFL. Patrick Pitbull, he's plus 100, and he's the other guy that he's fighting is 34 years old. He's 37, so I'm not
Bruno
taking.
Miranda has knockout power, and he's willing to fight in the pocket, and he has good cardio. I love Bruno Miranda this week.
I'm not worried about it.
Whoa, I got Bruno Miranda. It's funny because I already have him at plus 105 on a parlay.
Well, that's
and
good too.
Shift to the favorite.
Yeah.
Yo, this is really Mike versus Nick today.
Yeah, I'll take him at dog money against a guy who's similar to him in age. He's a talented guy. I mean, I know a little bit about Bruno Miranda, but I'm just taking Patrick Isol off the plus 100. Do a little flip my money potentially on that one. Nothing big.
You have
either,
one
though.
guy that's on a solid win streak and one guy that's, in my opinion, cashed it in. I think Patricky is done, man. After seeing, I mean, yeah, he had Clay Collard hurt in the early stages of that fight, but the way he got finished by Clay Collard, he literally quit on himself, man. And when a Pitbull brother quits on himself, it's time to hone it in. That's crazy to me, Big Mike.
He was getting smoked, bro. He was getting smoked by Collard. I don't think he quit on himself. He was getting smoked.
Yeah, bro. I don't know, bro. Patricky Pitbull has honed it in, man. I'm not high. Man. Who did he get cut by? Who was that? What's the Irish fighter that he got cut by? Bald dude, full beard. My brain is Peter Quilly. I know he got cut by him, but even when he saw his own blood, it seemed like he was quitting on himself in that fight. Very interesting stuff here. So we're truly opposite in that sense, but I'm not mad at it, bro. It gives people a lot of sides to think about. So.
I mean, shit, fade me. I'm not super confident in that pick. I just like seeing him at plus money.
I'm also not super confident in the Bruno Miranda pick, but I would take the guy that's on a better win streak than the guy that, in my opinion, is quitting on himself, showing chinny issues, and also showing, oddly enough, cardiovascular issues. We haven't seen him in deeper rounds, but when we're starting to see him in the deeper rounds, he begins to fade. It's super strange of a Pitbull brother who is someone things I respect about Patricio specifically is his ring leadership, his fight IQ, and his cardio. So to see his brother not really take that into the later stages of his career is pretty interesting to me. So
I got one more play for PFL. I like Michael Dufort. He's my guy. He's sitting at a minus 155. He's a submission machine. So whenever the odds for submission come out, I'll probably play the round and method combo on FanDuel, sub in rounds 2 or 3. I already hit on that last time out. Last time he fought Burnell, I knew I didn't know, but I was taking a shot that Burnell was tough enough to survive the first round. But he's also subject to get subbed. And Michael Dufort hit me with the method and round combo last time out, cashed me from like $10 to $1,000 with him and Rob Wilkinson. So I'm running back that same exact parlay. Michael Dufort by sub in rounds 2 or 3, Rob Wilkinson by knockout in rounds 1 or 2. We'll see if we can get a cash on that one again.
The only fight that worries me about that one is if you go back and watch the Adam Piccolotti versus Sydney Outlaw fight, they were scrambling like some ferrets. And Dufort does get the sub later in, so it does show that he has good cardio. So it could make for good play there. I don't know, man. Piccolotti's scrambling ability has always impressed me, but if I'm being real with you, bro, I think that you're onto something there. So maybe not the Wilkinson knockout part. I don't know about that because I think Silvera's tough enough to at least get eked out of a decision. So
We'll see what happens. And then we can move on to Bellator. I only have 2 fighters on Bellator that I'm rocking with this week, and I'm actually pretty nervous about both of them. But
let's hear it.
I like Jason Jackson. He's a minus 188 favorite right now. The guy he's fighting is undefeated, and he seems pretty decent. But Jason Jackson has a better strength of schedule, in my opinion. I'm not super familiar with a lot of the guys on his opponent's record, so he's a potential parlay piece for me this week. I think he has a good chance of getting it done. And then on top of that, in a pick'em fight, Dalton Rasta. I like Dalton Rasta this week as well. He's minus 115 right now. He just switched over to a light favorite, minus 115 to his opponent at minus 105. I'm going to keep it light on Bellator, but I feel like Dalton Rasta has a good chance this week as well.
Well, we're completely opposite in terms of the Dalton Rasta pick, just to be completely honest with you, because I actually like Noreni. I think he has grappling upside, high cardio, super good movement. He skirts along the cage really nicely. Dalton Rasta's kind of a gas bag, comes in. It reminds me of how you think of Sergey Pavlovich is how Dalton Rasta fights. Looping wide hooks. I can't trust a gas bag, especially when he doesn't have the same grappling upside, even though he does have super strong hips. So oddly enough, I don't want to break up my parlay of the week here. So I'm going to go onto my other phone really quickly just so I can make this parlay. So I like Norevi versus Dalton Rasta, and I love Jason Jackson this week. Jason Jackson is a known wrestler killer. He should be undefeated in his Bellator career. He beat Ed Ruth, who's a 2-time All-American wrestler, if you know anything about it. He gave Yaroslav Amosov his first loss, which, if anyone knows, I called that shit 4-1 odds. Check me on it, baby. I don't want to say easy money, but I felt it. He's in the gym wrestling with guys like Gilbert Burns, Shavkat Rakhmonov, and all the daggies that they have over there in Sanford MMA. He's a Sanford MMA and a Black Zillions mainstay. So he's been wrestling with guys like Rashad Evans since his, inception. And Jason Jackson's on that good Florida juice, baby. I don't care, in the although all those Florida guys have to be on something, bro, because their cardio is incredible and their takedown defense is even better. So if we're looking at my favorite Bellator parlay this week, I'm making it right now. I do have Norevi, and then I do have Jason Jackson at plus 199. Simple 2 legs at 2-1 odds, and I really love that parlay. I know we're on the opposite ends here, but I'm always going to fade a guy with cardio issues like a Dalton Rasta, and I'm always going to take the guy with a grappling upside in Norevi. And then Jason Jackson, I think, is going to defend the takedowns. It's funny, as I saw Kurabadamov, I saw him live here in Phoenix when he guillotined Jaleel Willis. And Jaleel Willis is someone that is known to quit on himself. He gets finished and they're also someone that they use for step-up fights too as well. And anyone that's winning by guillotine, I'm always going to be a little bit more worried about. And I granted, I will say about this Rabadov guy, I haven't put the heavy tape in as I have against some of these other Russians, but Jason Jackson's a Russian killer, man. So I think he's a solid play. I do have a Bellator dog that I like this week, actually, here. That's at a plus 1. I am so sorry, y'all. Plus 130. Mateus Matos. Mateus Matos is going to be fighting Kusam Kazimov, who went to a split decision win against Josh Hill, where I actually had Josh Hill anti-wrestling and winning that fight. I think he should have won that fight. I think Bellator gave the nod to the younger guy that they wanted to win. Mateus Matos' only losses are Peter Yan and Magomed Magomedov. And the Magomed Magomedov fight, he made multiple scramble accounts for himself, solid low kicks, and he boxes very well. He rips the body, which I truly appreciate. And the Kusamov guy, he literally was gassing super hard in the 3rd round of his last fight against Josh Hill. And if you're going to gas against someone, you don't want to gas against Mateus Matos, who's no doubt on that Brazilian acai right now. So I like Mateus Matos as a plus 130 underdog. He is in my underdog parlay of the week. In terms of confidence, I would say I feel good about a 7 out of 10 here. Mateus Matos is young, only 32, which if anyone knows how I feel about MMA betting, I think is the prime peak for an MMA fighter. So I'm going to take the guy who I feel like is in his prime peak. He's on a solid little win streak too as well. So I like Matos at a plus 130 underdog this week too as well. So
Sounds good. I might have to follow that one. That leaves
I
us.
think I think he's good, bro. Like, and it sucks is I fucked up. I didn't do any boxing research this week because there is so much MMA. I know there's an underdog in boxing hidden somewhere. Last week was a reek for underdogs in boxing. So
And then with that, we'll move on to UFC. Got a couple confident picks for this one, and then I have a couple parlays cross sport as well.
well, just so you know, for UFC, I really I this card, man. I mean, I already said my favorite pick of the week. It's Robert Whitaker, which people online are trying to get me to second guess myself, and I fucking refuse. I fucking refuse. But I just hope you know we do have some winning methods up on FanDuel for UFC for the top 3 fights.
Yeah, and we got some on. So I was using DraftKings for my odds for this one, but I do have some method combos. So my favorite pick of the week as well is Robert Whitaker. I like the under 2.5 in the Shara fight. Sneaky prop here over 1.5 in the Volkov Pavlovich fight is plus 124. And I have a weird feeling, dude. Just looking at the pictures of those two guys together,
It's almost
smiling,
like someone called that on the parlay.
they're homies. They're homies, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, that's what I said on the parlay. I said the only way to play this fight, in my personal opinion, if you're not going to take Sergey round 1, is to take the over. Because I think if Volkov wins, it's going to be Volkov a slow pick decision.
Yeah, so those are two solid lines. I have a couple parlays. Like these are just a little stacks right here. So Renat, Shara, Kelvin, Bobby Knuckles plus 310. And then I got a little sneaky one right here. Renat inside the distance, Shara inside the distance, which is plus 740. And if you add Robert Whitaker to that, it ups to plus 1281. And I actually like that parlay a lot. And then one other parlay for UFC that I have is under 2.5 in the Shara fight, under 1.5 in the Volt, or under 2.5 in the Shara fight, over 1.5 in Volkov's fight, and then Renat inside the distance, and that'll bring you to plus 1378. And I think that's pretty juicy, honestly.
Nah, that's actually a super banger if you ask me. So let me so I have a cross sport parlay this week here. I'll start off just because I didn't have UFC prepared, I didn't know that they dropped the double chance methods, man. I fucked that up already.
It's all good. They don't have too many of them. I just peeped. Renat inside the distance is plus 200, and Shara inside the distance is plus 180. So those are two props that I like a lot.
Well, off rips, I have a super chalk parlay that I just I absolutely, absolutely, absolutely love. But I'm going to start off with my cross sport parlay of the week. I have Kyung Ho Kane, good old Mr. Perfect himself at plus 130, plus Felipe Lima versus Naimov, who I think Felipe Lima is about to show you guys that he's the real fucking deal at plus 105, and Mateus Matos at plus 130. When you parlay all 3 of these together, you get 1,012 odds. Again, plus 1,012 odds. So a 10-1 odds for 3 dogs that I really, really like. Mateus Matos with a higher level of experience, and I think he's going to put on a boxing clinic and an anti-wrestling clinic. Felipe Lima, who I do think is going to get the finish this fight. I'm just waiting for those odds to drop. And then Mr. Perfect Ho Kang. I think Ho Kang is going to going to anti-wrestle his way to a decision here, skirt on the outside and jab his way to a win. So even though he does make fights a lot closer than he should, I love Mr. Perfect this week. So at plus 10-1 odds, I think that's a super, super, super banger. A juicy, sneaky prop that I really like. Daniel Rodriguez by finish at plus 750 versus Kelvin Gastelum this week. Kelvin Gastelum, always going to have a tough cut to 170, traveling to Saudi Arabia. Daniel Rodriguez is a natural 170er, man. He doesn't cut much weight. And I follow him on Instagram, and he's always in shape doing something. Yeah, he smokes a little bit of weed, but he's always at least in the boxing gym, always going on bike rides and runs, which I really appreciate. Daniel Rodriguez and Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum, it seems like, has been prone to get finish. And I know it's against guys like Sean Brady and Jack Hermanson and things of that nature. But I can see Daniel Rodriguez catching him with something in the boxing. There is no way in hell I would ever lay money on Kelvin Gastelum at a minus 225. And so if I have to look at something that I think is like sneaky bet, I think a sneaky bet is Daniel Rodriguez at plus 750. Now, if we're going to my double chance parlay of the week, I do like Renat to finish double chance at plus 200 is incredible odds. I'm actually kind of fucking blown at that, to say the least.
Hey, Kelvin Gastelum by submission, bro. Wait till that hits. It's probably gonna be plus 800. I'm cashing on that.
Yeah, fucking right. Get out of here, buddy.
We'll see.
Get out of here, buddy. I like at plus 740 for my 2-leg parlay of the week. I like Volkan Ozdemir to win over 1.5 rounds. And I like Renat to win by finish at plus 200. Volkan Ozdemir to win at 1.5 rounds at plus 180. That comes out to an odds of plus 740. So I think that's a solid little 2-legger here that you can put together for the UFC card. So, I mean, realistically, those are my bets for the week. If we're going with the parlays, I'm going with Mr. Perfect, Mateus Matos, and then how did I have such a mind block? And Felipe Lima there at 10-1.
Dude, I just thought of one more parlay. So I'm gonna take your parlay, Mateus Matos, Felipe Lima, but I'm gonna swap out Kang and add in Solomon Renfro. Instead of a plus 130, Renfro is a plus 150. So we might see about
No, that's actually a banger. And we both agree. And we both agree on Solomon Renfro too as well.
Yeah.
I hate guard pullers, bro. I hate guys that pull guard.
Check the odds on that real quick.
I'm literally doing it right now. My bad. My bad, viewers, that I am behind the ball on this.
No, we're good. One last time before the odds come up. Mateus Matos, Solomon Renfro, and Felipe Lima. 3 dogs to get it done. That would be a crazy parlay.
Plus 1,078. Still almost 11-1 odds, bro. It's literally incredible. And then you can also add favorites that you feel really good about too as well. Me, Godzia Sulov versus Ribeiro. Worst stylistic matchup on this card. Godzia Zulov is going to shoot. Ribeiro's going to try to meet him in the middle and overswing and commit on something. If you were to add, say, your chalk favorites to it too as well, which, for example, chalk favorites this week that, in my opinion, should win. Brian Zurcher at minus 500 for PFL. Godzia Zulov at minus 325 here on the UFC. Renat's going to beat Nicholas Dalby. I know everyone loves Nicholas Dalby, 4-0 as an underdog in the UFC. Nicholas Dalby's 39, and Renat is, in my personal opinion, is going to learn from his last loss and shouldn't gas bag on himself. And Aleki Dos Santos, again, has some of the best anti-wrestling hips with that capoeira shit you've seen in MMA. And I love Robert Whittaker, man. I could add Robert Whittaker to any parlay and feel good about it. I'm just going to add Robert Whittaker to that 3-legger, and it brings you to a plus 1839. Like, I love it. And here's the thing is, Robert Whittaker, of course, chinny with his last few fights and things of that nature. He is suspect to possibly get chinned in the first few rounds. I just think it's either going to be one of two ways. He's going to style on this guy or he's going to get chinned early and we're all going to say, holy shit, Ikram's for real. So I think Robert Whittaker styles on him. I lean more towards that camp personally.
Let's get it. And we forgot to mention it in the beginning of the video, but we are currently partnered with BetStamp, and we have a link in the description for the video. Hit that link, use our code to sign up for new sportsbooks in your region. It'll give you a new user offer. We support you, you support us, and everybody eats. Let's make some money this weekend. You already know we're going to be getting after it. I'm super excited about that underdog parlay. I'm looking forward to these fights. We got a lot of stuff this weekend.
Hell yeah, bro. Hey, don't forget to follow us, CST Combat Sports Today. Make sure to go like, share, comment, subscribe here on some content, especially on YouTube, y'all. Please give us a like, a comment, subscribe. Help us with the YouTube algorithm. Mike, you want to plug your Twitter real quick?
Yeah, I got my Twitter is at Michael_AQUIN and the number 0. Michael_AQUIN0. And that's where I post my lottos too. So the PFL lottos have been hitting all season. They were hitting last season. So we'll see if we can keep it going. I post those on my Twitter.
Hell yeah. Mine is at Nick Saban. That's NICCSABAN, like the legendary coach, but without the K, it's NICC. Man, much love to y'all. We hope you guys make a lot of money this week with us. I feel really good about this week, man. There is a lot of fights, a lot of great content. Follow us on Twitter, man. We'll be dropping some more picks outright. Mike's a killer with the MLB snipes lately, especially with the home run plays. So let's get down on it, y'all. I'll also be posting some boxing plays I like this week too as well on my Twitter. So that being said, hit us up, y'all.
Hey.